If you're a man over 60 and you've been noticing changes, less energy, weaker erections, or a dip in confidence, you need to hear this. Because what I'm about to share isn't a gimmick, it's not a supplement, and it's not a prescription. It's food. Real, natural food, specifically 3 types of nuts that can help restore your blood flow, support your hormone levels, and bring your performance back in ways that might actually surprise you. I'm Dr. Sophia Jain. I specialize in men's health, and I've spent over 20 years helping men rebuild what aging tries to take away. I want to be clear from the start. Aging doesn't mean decline. It means adaptation. And when you adapt with the right tools, you can keep your vitality, your confidence, and yes, your erections strong for decades to come. Let's dive in, starting with the first nut that's quietly becoming a secret weapon for blood flow in older men. It's not exotic. In fact, you've probably walked right past it at the grocery store, but when used the right way, it can support the exact systems that drive strong circulation and firmer erections. Let's talk about walnuts. Most men think of walnuts as brain food, and yes, they are. But what's even more impressive is what they do for your blood vessels. See, erections are all about circulation. If blood isn't flowing where it needs to go and staying there, you simply won't get the kind of performance you want. Walnuts are packed with an amino acid called L-arginine. Your body uses L-arginine to create nitric oxide, which relaxes the inner muscles of your blood vessels, allowing blood to flow more freely. When you were younger, nitric oxide was abundant, but after 60, your body doesn't make as much of it naturally. That's when problems start showing up. Softer erections, longer recovery times, and less spontaneity in the bedroom. Adding just a handful of walnuts a day can support nitric oxide production, widen blood vessels, and improve oxygen delivery throughout your entire body, including to the parts that matter most in the bedroom. But there's more. Walnuts also contain alpha-linoleic acid, a type of omega-3 fat that helps reduce inflammation. Chronic inflammation stiffens your arteries and slows down circulation. When that happens, your heart has to work harder and your ability to perform declines. By reducing inflammation, walnuts actually reverse that process. I had a patient, Neil, who was 67. He came to me frustrated. He said, "Everything else is fine. I eat right, I walk daily, but it just doesn't work like it used to." I asked him to try one simple change, a handful of raw walnuts every night after dinner. 3 weeks later, he came back with a smile. He told me, "I didn't expect that. It's subtle, but I feel like something's working again." That's the beauty of walnuts. They don't promise miracles, but they help your body remember how it's supposed to work. Now, walnuts set the foundation, but the second nut on this list, it takes that foundation and builds something powerful on top of it. Not only does it support blood flow, it helps with erection strength, duration, and even satisfaction. And yes, there's science behind that. Let's talk about pistachios. Pistachios are more than just a snack. They're one of the few foods that have been directly studied for their effects on sexual function. In one clinical trial, men with erectile issues were given pistachios daily for 3 weeks. The result? Firmer erections, longer performance, better satisfaction, all from a single handful of nuts. So, what's inside pistachios that makes them so effective? It starts with arginine again, helping nitric oxide do its job. But pistachios also bring antioxidants to the table. These compounds protect your blood vessels from oxidative stress, which is a major factor in age-related erectile dysfunction. When blood vessels are damaged, they lose their ability to expand and contract properly. That means slower, weaker blood flow, exactly what you don't want. Pistachios are high in plant sterols, which help regulate cholesterol levels. Why does that matter? Because high LDL cholesterol clogs your arteries, including the ones that feed your genitals. Clean arteries mean better circulation, and better circulation means better erections. A man named James, 74, came into my clinic a year ago. He had been through 2 marriages, had some health scares, and thought his intimate life was over. When we talked, he was hesitant. He said, "Isn't it too late for me? I told him it's never too late to feel like a man again. I had him start with pistachios, unsalted, raw, just a small handful after lunch each day. After 2 weeks, he sent me an email. I don't know what you did, Doc, but I'm waking up different. Haven't felt this in years. That's not magic. That's biology working again. And let's be honest, most men don't want to be chasing pills or sitting in doctors' offices talking about their bedroom struggles. They want simple, private, natural solutions. Pistachios are exactly that: nutrient-dense, heart-healthy, and performance-boosting. So we've got walnuts for blood flow, pistachios for erection strength, and now we get to the third nut. This one is less about flow or firmness and more about what fuels those things: your hormones. The third nut is the Brazil nut. Brazil nuts are the richest food source of selenium, a mineral that's essential for testosterone production. Low testosterone isn't just about libido. It affects energy, mood, muscle tone, and even mental focus. And as you age, your levels naturally drop unless you're doing something to support them. One Brazil nut contains more than your daily requirement of selenium. Just one. Now, don't overdo it. Too much selenium can actually be harmful, but one nut each morning, that's a powerful, natural way to support your testosterone levels, sperm quality, and even your prostate health. A patient of mine, Ron, 70 years old, had been on testosterone therapy for 6 months with mixed results. When we looked at his nutrient profile, he was low in selenium. I told him to stop everything else and just add a single Brazil nut every morning. Within a month, his energy improved, his morning erections returned, and his mood stabilized. And he told me something I still remember. He said, "I didn't change my life. I just gave my body what it was missing." That's what these 3 nuts do. They give your body back the raw materials it needs to function the way it did before time started slowing things down. So now you know the 3 power-packed nuts: walnuts for circulation, pistachios for erection quality, and Brazil nuts for hormone support. But here's where things start to get interesting. Most men think adding these foods separately might help a little. But what they don't realize is that when these 3 are combined consistently and in the right sequence, the results can be dramatically better. Why? Because your body works best when nutrients complement each other. Let me explain. Each of these nuts supports a different pillar of sexual health. Walnuts improve the plumbing, opening up blood vessels and enhancing flow. Pistachios reinforce the performance, helping you maintain firmness and duration. Brazil nuts restore the internal engine, keeping your testosterone and prostate functioning properly. On their own, they're impressive, but together they complete the system. That's the key. They don't compete, they collaborate. I had a client named Dennis, 71 years old, former high school coach, retired and still full of life, but struggling quietly. He had tried each nut before. He told me, "I did walnuts for a while, then switched to pistachios, but I'd forget or get bored. Didn't really feel much difference." So I challenged him. What if you used all 3 every day for just 3 weeks? Same time, same amounts, same order. He agreed. Nothing fancy, just consistency. 3 weeks later, Dennis came into my office, eyes wide. He said, "I've been sleeping better. I wake up energized, and my wife actually asked me what I'm doing differently. I didn't expect it to work like this." That's synergy. When you give your body consistent signals, it starts responding in consistent ways. And here's what most men over 60 don't realize. Your body wants to work properly. It's not trying to fail you. But as you age, your systems need clearer instructions and better building blocks. That's what this 3-nut combination delivers: clarity, fuel, and balance. Now, before we walk through the exact routines step by step, let's talk about something important. Something that can quietly erase your progress if you're not careful. I've worked with thousands of men over the years, and I can tell you, the number 1 mistake men over 60 make isn't physical, it's mental. It's the belief that it's too late. This belief doesn't scream, it whispers. It shows up when you stop trying, when you skip one walk, then two, when you stop checking in on how you feel, when you start thinking, this is just how it is now. That mindset kills more erections, more energy, and more confidence than any disease. Let me tell you about Charles. He was 68, former mechanic, tough, old school, didn't talk much. But during his first visit, I could see it on his face. He looked tired, not physically, but mentally. He said, "I don't even know why I'm here. I think I missed the window." I told him, the window doesn't close unless you shut it. We didn't start with anything complicated. No labs, no hormone therapy. I just asked him to try the nuts. But more than that, I asked him to shift how he thought about his body. I asked him to stop seeing aging as decline and start seeing it as transition. Because here's the truth. Your body can rebuild, but not if your mind won't let it. Charles started the routine, slowly. 1 nut in the morning, pistachios in the afternoon, walnuts before bed. 3 small acts of belief repeated daily. By the second month, he walked in with a different look. Shoulders back, brighter eyes. He didn't say much. He didn't have to. The way he carried himself told me everything. His body had changed, but his belief had changed first. So if you've been waiting for a sign to start taking yourself seriously again, this is it. This message, this moment. Let it be the line you draw in the sand. And now that you know what's possible, let's walk through exactly how to do it. This routine is simple. You don't need a calendar. You don't need to chase macros or chase supplements. You just need a 3-part rhythm spaced out over the day. Here's what I tell my patients. Start your morning with a Brazil nut. Right after you brush your teeth or pour your coffee, just 1 nut. It's not about hunger. It's about hormone support. That early dose of selenium signals your body to produce testosterone and protect your prostate. You don't need more than 1. In fact, more can be harmful, but 1, that's the sweet spot. Then, around lunchtime, eat a small handful of pistachios. Not salted, not covered in sugar, just raw or dry roasted pistachios. About a 1/4 cup. This gives your body the nitric oxide boost it needs to support performance. It also helps stabilize your blood sugar during that midday slump and feeds your vascular system the compounds it needs to function efficiently. Finally, in the evening, about an hour before bed, have your walnuts. Again, a small handful. Think 6 to 8 walnut halves. This helps repair your circulation overnight and calms inflammation so you wake up clearer, stronger, and with better morning performance. Plus, walnuts contain natural melatonin, which can support deeper sleep. 3 nuts, 3 times, 3 minutes a day. No complexity, no pressure. I call it the vitality triangle because each corner supports the others, and together they form a stable base for strength, performance, and confidence. But don't just listen to me. Feel it for yourself. If you're consistent for just 21 days, you will feel the shift. Maybe it'll start as more energy in the morning, maybe firmer erections, maybe a deeper sense of connection with your partner, or maybe just the feeling that you're back in control. And remember, this isn't a quick fix. It's a recalibration. You're teaching your body how to work again with the right inputs and none of the noise. Now, we're almost at the end. In the final part, I'll wrap everything together and share a powerful message, not just about your body, but about what it means to reclaim your identity as a man in this phase of life.
If you've made it this far, it tells me something important. You're not just curious. You're ready. Ready to feel strong again. Ready to show up fully. Ready to stop living on the sidelines and start moving with power, presence, and purpose. And that's why this final part matters so much. Because this, right here, is where information turns into action, and action turns into transformation. I want you to imagine something. You wake up in the morning feeling rested, not sluggish. You stretch, stand tall, and notice that quiet sense of strength returning to your body. You don't dread the day, you meet it. Your partner looks at you differently. Not because of something you said, but because of how you carry yourself now. Your posture, your energy, your spark, it's all coming back. Not from a bottle, not from a pill, but from real food, real effort, and real belief. Because that's what this journey is really about. Yes, we've talked about nuts, walnuts, pistachios, and Brazil nuts, and how they help restore blood flow, hormone balance, and performance. But beneath all of that is something deeper. It's the moment you stop seeing your body as past its prime and start treating it like it's still worth investing in. Too many men get to a certain age and quietly check out. They stop pushing, stop engaging, stop believing. And over time, they become a quieter version of themselves. But you don't have to. You're not done. You're not broken. You're not invisible. You're still here. And you still have more to give to your partner, to your family, to yourself. And it starts with small, consistent choices. A Brazil nut in the morning to fuel your hormones. Pistachios at midday to boost circulation and stamina. Walnuts before bed to rebuild your system while you sleep. That's not a routine. That's a statement. A statement that says, I respect my body. I know what it's capable of. And I'm not ready to fade. And what happens next is something I've seen again and again in my practice. Men who had quietly resigned themselves to low energy, weak performance, or fading confidence suddenly rediscover their strength. They laugh more, move more, connect more, not because they're chasing youth, but because they've chosen presence. That's the magic. It's not about trying to be 30 again. It's about being fully alive at 60, 70, even 80, because your body still responds when you give it the right input. You may not have control over the number of candles on your birthday cake, but you do have control over how you feel when you blow them out. So here's what I want you to take from this message. Start today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when it's more convenient. Start today. Go to your pantry or the store. Pick up those 3 simple ingredients. Place them where you'll see them. Brazil nuts, pistachios, and walnuts. Make them part of your rhythm, not as a burden, but as an act of self-respect. And then watch what happens. In a few days, you might feel a little lighter. In a week, maybe stronger. In 3 weeks, you may wake up and realize you haven't felt this steady, this focused, or this alive in years. That's what I want for you. Because I know what's possible when a man starts believing in himself again, when he stops chasing miracles and starts trusting his body, when he replaces frustration with fuel, when he lets go of shame and reaches for strength. That's not just health, that's power. And it's yours to reclaim. You've been given the knowledge, you've heard the stories, you've seen the science. Now the question is, will you begin? If you do, I believe this moment could be a turning point. Not just for your health, but for your identity, your energy, and your relationships. So go, start small, be consistent, and remember, this isn't about getting everything right. It's about doing one thing right over and over until your body remembers who you are. You're a man. You still have time. You still have strength. And you're still worth fighting for. Let's keep that fire burning.